What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. And this time, we're taking a look at Son of Frankenstein, the third installment into Universal's Frankenstein franchise. Now, Son of Frankenstein follows the story of Wolf Frankenstein, the son of Henry Frankenstein, as he travels to his ancestral home to restore the name of the Frankensteins, which has been discouraged because of his dad's creation of the monster. So that's pretty much the premise of this movie. Now let's talk about it. I think Son of Frankenstein is a pretty good movie. It's not as good as the first Frankenstein or Bride of Frankenstein, but I thought Son of Frankenstein was a good installment into the Frankenstein series, and also it should be noteworthy that this is the final performance of Boris Karloff as the monster. And I thought Boris Karloff this time around, he always brings his A game to this role, but I think that his performance of the monster in this movie, you can tell that he's exhausted. Like you can tell that he's exhausted playing this role. The monster's role in this movie is really reduced. This movie follows mostly the character of Wolf Frankenstein and the character of Igor, played awesomely by Bela Lugosi. The character of Igor in this movie is a character who was attacked by the towns and had his neck broken, so he's constantly looking like this. But Bela Lugosi's performance as Igor is absolutely outstanding. He's a manipulator because it's Igor who pretty much controls the monster, and I just thought Bela Lugosi was fantastic in the role. I love every scene that he's in. He steals the show. He really shines in this movie. So this is more or less an Igor movie that is a Frankenstein's monster movie. Like the monster is virtually reduced just to the background. And like I said, while Carl Law's performance in this movie is good compared to the other two, you can tell that he's exhausted playing this role and that this is the swan song. Not only that, I don't like what they do with the monster in this movie. Even though the monster is kept largely in the background, they strip away a lot of the developed personality he gained in Bride of Frankenstein. Like the monster in Bride of Frankenstein, he learned to talk. He learned how to have rational thought. In this movie, he's pretty much reduced to what he was in that first movie. It's almost as if Bride of Frankenstein never happened. Not only that, the bride herself is never mentioned nor referenced once in this entire movie. The castle, the laboratory where she was created, plays a part in this movie, since that was the last time we saw the Frankenstein monster itself. But the bride, not even referenced once, and I don't like that at all because she was a big part of the last movie. And of course, I don't like the fact that they stripped away the monster's developing personality and that he was restored back to his Neanderthal state from the first movie. I didn't like that whatsoever. I don't find I think this movie has no excuse to do something like that. So those are my two big, massive criticisms that are really against this movie that really make it stand up from being great. Instead, this movie's actually just good. You have a strong cast overall. Basil Rathbone as Wolf von Frankenstein. He comes across likable. He's a likable character. He wants to restore his family name, but in his mind, by doing that, he wants to revive the monster to pretty much show what what good science can do. Of course, because the monster is the monster, his plans backfire. So now he has to keep everything pretty much a secret. And with that being said, it's pretty much a cat and mouse between him and this other character known as an inspector, played by Lionel Atwell. And I thought the inspector character is pretty good, though, and I think the scenes with him and Wolf, there's some of the best scenes that are not regarding the monster and not regarding Igor. I like the scenes that they're in; they're all tension filled, and you can immediately tell that the inspector is on to Wolf Frankenstein and knows that something's going on. So I like that stuff. I thought the stuff was really well done, and I thought the directing in those scenes were really suspense ridden and very intense. Not only that, I think as a whole, this is a good looking movie overall. This is considered to be one of the last. This is considered to be the last A Frankenstein movie before it was relegated to the B movie side. And from a production and technical standpoint, this is a great looking movie. It has a very German expressionistic feel to it with the set design and with the shadowy contrast. And so I enjoyed all that. And of course it has its element of a creepy, spooky atmosphere like the other two movies had. Though those other two movies, they had a dark sense of humor to them. This one doesn't really have much of a dark sense of humor to it, at least to me, at least. This one plays more straightforward in a way. It's not as jokey as the other two movies were. Like, it's almost as if they're trying to bring the horror back to the Frankenstein monster, and I think they did a decent job overall doing so. Uh, yeah, I didn't think it was done all that bad. I thought it was done pretty solidly. I mean, and you had this other plot, this other subplot where Wolf's son kind of like befriends the inspector character, and those scenes are okay. And the child actor who plays the son Peter, he's fine. Could be annoying in a lot of areas, particularly his voice, but he comes across as he's decent enough. And I do like that his parents are overall very loving towards him, especially Wolf. So at least the movie's got that going from like Wolf is not portrayed as an evil character. He's portrayed like his father, a man with a good heart who is just overly ambitious. So that's pretty much it. If you really want to know, Son of Frankenstein feels like a half-hearted remake of the original Frankenstein movie. That's just how I view it. Now, does that make the Son of Frankenstein a bad movie overall? Absolutely not. I do think this movie is overall really, really solid, and it's a good conclusion to the original storyline that began with that first movie. Uh, I think as an overall grade, I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I do think it's actually really good quality. I do enjoy the movie. I think it runs a little too long. Like this movie is longer than the previous two movies, and I think this movie should have been cut down a little bit because there are a lot of scenes that tend to drag on, and there are a lot of filler scenes that just are just there to kill time. And if you would have cut at least maybe 20 minutes of the runtime, this movie would have had a much, much more brisker, faster flow to it. That's just me personally. Uh, yeah, those are my thoughts on Son of Frankenstein. 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.